Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Sam, I'm an artist and I help other artists to grow in skills and confidence in my online membership, The Joy of Drawing. And I also help other creatives to turn their art hobby into a business, doing something that they love every single day and making money. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to create wrinkly skin, like on a rhino here, or something like an elephant, and keep it really simple and try not to get bogged down too much with the details, especially too quickly. I hope you enjoy the video. The most important thing to think about when you're trying to create wrinkles or trying to create form on obviously a 2D piece of paper is that you need to get your values right. You need to get your darks dark enough. So here with the nostril, you can see I've gone really dark. I don't go in with the black until the very end, but I built up through the cold greys, the warm greys, and eventually putting Payne's grey, warm grey 6, and then a little bit of black. But underneath the nostril is just as important because we need the lighter parts to look like they're standing forward. So you can see I've mapped out some of the wrinkles here. I've just put them in with either a cold grey or a warm grey, like a number 3 or number 4, just so that I can work out where I am, because it's a little bit like a jigsaw puzzle when you're drawing wrinkles on the skin. It's really difficult to know where you are when you're looking at the reference photo, and they all kind of merge in together. So if you put in the biggest ones, you're not getting bogged down with detail, but you're just having these little landmarks, these little signposts on your drawing to work out where you are. So if you come back to it, if you have a break, if you have to answer the door, or obviously if you want to do this in more than one sitting, then it's really important that you have these things there that you can work out where you are. The other thing to think about with wrinkles and folds of the skin, this can apply to dogs and cats as well, any animal really, is that you don't just want to draw a line. Can you see where I've just drawn the lines? They look like there's just a cut in the paper. With a wrinkle, there tends to be a fold as well. There tends to be a bulge that goes into the wrinkle. So the wrinkle's not just one line, it's a line and it's got shadow either side of it as well. And what you'll tend to find is that the part which is the most rounded will have a little bit of a highlight on it. So you need to think about where those highlights are. Really look at your reference photo, because the parts that are highlighted are the parts that are going to stand forward from the paper, and then the darkest parts are going to push backwards and they're going to create form. So that's going to create the look of the skin folding as opposed to just lines on the rhino. Now, this is actually my 3rd or 4th rhino that I've ever drawn. One of them I completed, but it was a smaller scale. This is the 3rd one. The other 2 I just never completed. And the reason that they went wrong and the reason I wasn't happy with them is because I got bogged down with the detail really, really early on. So I drew all of the wrinkles in. I drew all of the parts that needed kind of lines and dashes, and it just looked really messy, and then it was difficult to work it out. So what I've done is I've just drawn in the main ones, and then I'm going to go in with my colours of my different greys, the warm greys and the cold greys, and just build up through the colours, creating depth. It looks like there's white on the front of the nose here, when actually I put down a layer of luminance, which means that I can slice back to it if I need to. Then I put about 3 layers of cold grey 1, and then I've gone in with warm grey 1, and now I'm building up through the warm greys, warm grey 3, the warm grey 4, eventually to warm grey 5. Warm grey 6 I absolutely love because it's a really good glazing colour. So you can go over the top of the things that you've already put down, and it doesn't lose any of the colours underneath, but it darkens it up nicely. So it creates a nice natural shadow. I use this one, and I use the dark sepia, but the dark sepia is much more of a browny tone. So on this rhino, the warm grey 6 worked a lot better. So it looks like the paper's white, but actually there are lots and lots of layers that are slowly building up. And what you want through the wrinkles is that kind of nuanced shadow. You can see with the nostril that it doesn't just go into the darkest part. You have to gradually look like it's going into a hole, a hole which is the nostril. So there needs to be almost lighter colours going gradually darker, a little bit like when you put a shadow onto something to ground it. It's darkest where it makes contact with the paper, and then it gradually fades out, the same way it gradually fades into the darkest part, away from the nostril, it fades out. It's not just a dark hole and then a line next to it. That's when your drawings will look a little bit flat. So it needs to have that gradient of shadow through the wrinkle, through the skin. And the reason I put a layer down of luminance is that it enables me to then lift up really easily some of the highlights towards the end of my work. I won't be doing it yet because there's an awful lot more to go. And when you're working on a section like I am here on the nostril, you need to stand back and you need to balance everything and almost have everything in to check that it looks right, because it won't look right immediately. So you can see I'm lifting up with the Tombow here, using the slice tool just to lift because the Tombow wasn't working, just to lift a little bit of a highlight. And these highlights are so important because it has to make sense. I'm putting a little bit more wrinkles in through the warm grey 6, and then I'm just working out where the finer wrinkles are now. Now I've got about 15 to 20 layers in. I wouldn't do that at the beginning because it would just be mind-boggling and it would look way too messy, and then I would probably look at my drawing and not like it, like I have done with the other two, which is why I haven't finished them. So it's really important just to put all of the layers in first, just get your signposts in, as in your biggest wrinkles and something like a nostril, so that you know exactly where you are, and then build up through the colours, adding the depths, going in with the values, adding the darkest parts towards the end, as you can see next to this nostril, and then you can go in with the finer details towards the end, but don't get bogged down with them too quickly.
Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this, the full-time tutorial is available in my online membership, The Joy of Drawing. I will leave the link in the description box down below. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and possibly share it with any friends or family that you think might really enjoy it too. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.